Now this is something a bit different behind me here. What we have here is an Aquila 32 Catamaran. Now a lot of the time when you think catamaran, you think something rather slow, rather ungainly, possibly rather unattractive. This is quite the opposite. This is powered by twin 300 horsepower Mercury outboard engines, giving it a top speed of around about 30 knots. But rather than being a huge beamy broad thing, it's actually more of a deck boat. So in terms of how wide it is, it's around about 12 foot 8 inches wide. So it's obviously wider than a conventional monohull, but not so wide that it becomes like a big floating platform. Now, we have just heard that the UK dealer has been announced for this, and it's going to be Approved Boats, who are very well known. They deal in galleon, and they are going to start bringing these into the UK. And this boat, all kitted up with this spec, with these engines, is going to be just under £300,000, including taxes. So let's take a closer look on board. So first up, we've got a really sociable seating area. Now the extra beam does mean there's just more space on board. It's not crazy wide, but it does mean you've got a very nice square shaped seating, space to move around. There's a great flow all along it, nice detailing on the seats, and all of them are very well fitted out. So they've got storage under them, and really nice. You can see these pantograph hinges, so you don't have to lift off the cushion and then lift a locker lid to get into it. It will just swing up one-handed. Now this one turns into a bed. I'll see if I can show you that in a minute, but again that swings out, and then you've got a big sunbed area. You can have a high-low table here. This is just a fixed one, but you get a lovely sunbathing area along there. But if you want to, you can get the optional drop-down table, and then that whole section turns into a sunbed. And again, give an idea of the storage behind here. So this goes right down into the hull, and you can see there's masses of storage space for tucking safety gear, in this case in there. There is a seat on this side that swings either way, so it's got a bolster cushion that drops down, the backrest swings across. There's a lovely big chaise longue facing that way too. Again, storage under all of these on those nice hinges, so masses of easy access storage space. Big hardtop overhead, really chunky stainless steel, very nicely done. So it looks really well supported. And it doesn't look like there's got big overhangs, so there shouldn't be too much shaking or rattling around. It looks very nice and solid. It's a Helm Bench, yet more storage underneath here. You can see, again, it being a show, it's absolutely rammed full of kit. Big bench helm seat, bolster cushions, again, really nice chunky stainless steel hinges for all of this. Helm itself, obviously you've got the Mercury controls for the twin outboard engines, and this one is fitted with the joystick option, so you can move it sideways or backwards. You can drive the whole thing on the joystick. Makes it very easy to maneuver, very easy to berth. And again, it's something people are a little bit concerned about on the catamarans. They look a bit daunting, but because this one isn't that wide, and because you've got that joystick, makes it a great deal easier to maneuver into a berth. And moving forward from here, there's a wet bar area. Again, it's almost like a deck boat, a pontoon boat, but without the rather ugly looks that you tend to get with some of those. So there's a proper grill under here. There's a sink with a flip-up tap. And this is a nice little detail. This is the infill for the sink, which fits in there, but with that little button of granite or corian fixed down there, you can drop that into place, and it just means it's not going to move. So that'll stay there even when you're bouncing around underway. Big drawer fridge, very important. And a little rubbish bin. It's the controls for the grill. And then this lovely bow area here. And again, because of that beam and that square shape for catamaran, it's a much more sociable, much larger area than you normally get. They haven't put the canopy up, but you can see there's a sun canopy that pops up and gives you a bit of shade over here, but lovely space. Drop down armrests, so large enough to actually chill out, properly lie down. Little storage units again into the hulls. You can now see the shape, you can see where the separate hulls go in there, so masses of room for storing lines and fenders. That gives access to the anchor locker, windlass, another locker over at that side, and these pop-up cleats on the bow and anchor over the front. Now then, there's obviously walk-through windscreen here, and that closes that off, so if it does get a bit wet you can section off this bow area and keep it separate. And then the depth of those hulls means there's a really good heads compartment. It's quite steep steps down, but you drop down into it, and a really good sized day heads. You know, often on a day boat like this there's fairly cramped accommodation, but because of the depth of those individual hulls, it's actually a really nice space. You've got lots of light coming in through here, and then access to some of the systems. We're under the helm here, so you've got really good access, not just a tiny cupboard, it's a walk-in space. You can access all the charging, all the systems, all the breaker switches. Very nice and easy to get to. And over on the other side, if we pop up and drop down here, there is a cabin, proper sleeping cabin. It's not the widest double bunk I've ever seen, but there is plenty of space for a fairly cosy couple to bed down in there. Lots of light coming in through the hull windows. Good bit of floor space around the foot of the bed. It's obviously mainly intended as a day boat, but it does mean you absolutely can spend a week on board as a couple and actually go a little bit further. So that is the Aquila 32, a very interesting alternative to a conventional sports boat or day boat, with all the advantages of a catamaran in terms of space and comfort and stability, but much more of the looks and performance of a planing sports boat. I think that's a really interesting option. And of course there is a bathing platform that comes out with those outboard engines. It can't be full width, but rather than having two little side ones, you've got this rather nice, almost like a wide diving board with under here, if I can lift that up one-handed, there is a bathing ladder. So it's rather nice. It's like a little diving platform into the sea, and a nice ladder that drops down, helps you up. Again, you've even got little pop-up cleats here, probably for tying your tender up or stand-up paddle boards. But I think that is a very interesting alternative to a conventional deck boat. And now that they are going to be coming to the UK with Galleon dealer approved boats, it should provide a very interesting opportunity. And there's that bow area. You can see the twin hulls down there, and really quite sporty looks. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this very rapid tour of the Aquila 32 catamaran. There is a full range of these boats, including larger cruising ones, so hopefully we'll be getting to see a lot more of them. Thank you very much for watching the tour. Please subscribe if you haven't already, give us a like, and clock back in for the next tour.